Now, I want to get back to J.D. Vance, the US, J.D. Vance, that is the US Vice President. I showed you earlier what he had to say in Munich about immigration in particular. He had a lot to say about Europe and challenged the Europeans on a number of fronts. Here's some more from the Veep.
European leaders have a choice, and my strong belief is that we do not need to be afraid of the future. You can embrace what your people tell you, even when it's surprising, even when you don't agree. And if you do so, you can face the future with certainty and with confidence, knowing that the nation stands behind each of you.
Let's go to London now and catch up with Sophie Elsworth, News Corp's Europe correspondent. Sophie, the Europeans, I bet they loved getting lectured by an American.
I don't think that's going down too well at all, Chris, but he has some very valid points that he's made. And, you know, concerning here in the UK about what is going on with this, you know, that he's attacking the migration, and it is a big issue here. It's constantly making the news. You know, in this speech he delivered, it was very, you know, from the heart. He's concerned about what is going on here in Europe. And as I've said to you before, Chris, a lot of the big issues here in Europe are the ones that we have back home in Australia. And migration is undoubtedly one of the most important issues that you know, J.D. Vance addressed, and that is a problem here and back home.
Yeah, I showed some of what he had to say on migration at the top of the program because it is so pertinent to us here. The other thing, I suppose the thesis of his speech was, you know, everyone, the Europeans still want America to protect them, give them this security guarantee that's been in place since the Second World War. But he's saying, well, what are we protecting? Where are these European and democratic, liberal traditions and qualities that we're supposed to be defending? Europe should be doing more to defend those itself. So let's have a little look at a little bit more from J.D. Vance.
Europe faces many challenges, but the crisis this continent faces right now, the crisis I believe we all face together, is one of our own making. If you're running in fear of your own voters, there is nothing America can do for you. Nor, for that matter, is there anything that you can do for the American people who elected me and elected President Trump.
Yeah, Sophie, running from your own voters. And this goes to your point about migration. I mean, he's saying that the voters get it, the voters in Britain through Brexit and whatever, and what we're seeing in other European nations, we'll see in Germany, I think, in a week or so. Voters want strong borders, but the politicians don't deliver what the voters want.
Well, Chris, this has been such a big issue here in the UK, as you know, and we had the Conservative Party in government for 14 years. And I can tell you on broadcasts over here, in the papers, the radios, every morning, migration, I would almost argue it's top of the debate ahead of cost of living. It's a constant problem, and the ramifications of migration. People are really angry. They can't afford things. They feel like house prices are out of control. There's issues with employment. So they're blaming it on migration. And it seems to be something that is just festering and gathering more and more momentum. And I would argue that is why Nigel Farage's Reform Party has had such an impact, because this is one of the key issues that he is fighting on.
Spot on, Sophie. I couldn't agree with you more. He's going to be fascinating to watch. Thanks for joining us again, Sophie Elsworth, the Europe correspondent for News Corp.